Hello, my Facebook family. How are you this Tuesday afternoon? I am Bess McCarty, coach for network marketers, also called the shrink of MLM, bringing you every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, a sample of the Sunday night Quick Start Basics class that I teach with Jeffrey David Gamble in our school, the MLM Millionaire Club, School for Network Marketers. So we partner. It's a generic school. It's really, really good. People are getting great results. So today the topic is how to recruit people you don't know. Something every network marketer wants to know, because once you contact the several hundred people that are your friends and family, and you've gone through your phone book and contacted all the people there, because we do recommend that you start out with that, and then you go through your Facebook friends and contact them. And by the way, the way that we recommend that you do that is by sending out a script, which I'll share with you in just a minute. For a moment, I just want to introduce our who Jeff and I are, and I'll bring him on camera in just a minute. If you're watching the replay, I'd love if you type in replay, everybody, and also love to hear where you're from. When we're finished, we will open it for questions. So if you have a question for network marketing coaches or entrepreneurs, we'd love to hear that too. And we also love to hear your tips as we go. Share your wisdom here too. So this is an interactive thing, you guys. Where y'all watching from? Love to welcome you from there. So just as a minute of introduction before I get into the topic and the script, would like to just fill you in about, who am I, why listen to me. Welcome, Denise. Welcome, Jim. Welcome, Sean. Hey, everybody. Glad to see ya. I used to be a full-time network marketer for years. Helped me to raise my son as a single mom. My company went out of business. I went into body-mind therapy for my own personal growth and healing and to help other people. Fell in love with that. Bring that back to network marketers. I began coaching. That was 30 years ago, began coaching. Tried some more network marketing companies, didn't feel right, and I realized my calling was just to coach. And my coach said, you can't just coach everybody, you got to niche down. I said, okay, business. And he said, niche down further. I said, network marketers, because I was one. You guys are my heroes. I know what it takes. It takes a lot of facing yourselves every day, a lot of personal growth. And besides, I think it's the best business in the world, and I really want to help people to achieve their goals in network marketing. Hello, David. Welcome. Going to bring Jeff on pretty soon. And Sean is from Rotan, Honduras. Awesome. And David Peters says, hi. Welcome, everybody. So pretty soon we're going to gear up, bring Jeff on. That's my background. I have trained, I know what it means to overcome fear and shyness. I had to do that to be able to do my network marketing business. So I know what it takes to do that. I am a trained therapist, body-mind therapist and practitioner, and it's very handy to bring along when I coach network marketers on skills and mindset, because who of your upline is trained as a therapist to help you do that, right? So very handy to overcome the blocks that we run into, which is 80% of success. So welcome, Max. Awesome. Thank you, David, for your comments, always, for contributing what you do. I love to hear what you say, and everybody. Love to hear your weigh-ins here. So Jeff, I met him 4 years ago, Eric Worre's page. We started talking and being in touch, and he's always been so kind and generous and just checking in and very supportive. And we got to really talk, and it was May this year. We talked like 4 hours. And I found out what he's doing and his methods. And I said, well, I got it. I'm committed to bringing the best that I found to my students in my school, the MLM Millionaire Club, my school for network marketers, which I've been running for about 10 years. And I'm committed to bringing the best. This is the best methods that I found. Would you come speak to him? So he did, very generously. And we eventually realized that, hey, we both love teaching a lot, and we both have the same goals to help network marketers. So now we are partnering in this generic school, the MLM Millionaire Club for network marketers. And we teach on Sunday nights, a really, really good class where people are jumping ranks. One lady just told us that in November she jumped 2 ranks as a result of what we're teaching and doing and our confidence in her. She jumped 2 ranks, quadrupled her sales, got a new car bonus, all the while having health and family challenges and problems. And she's just kind of still amazed. And we said, okay, don't stop there. What's the goal for next month? You know, network. David Peters wants to recruit all the strangers. Okay, then there's not going to be any left for anybody else, David. So Lucy is watching. Hey, Jeff, I'm going to bring you on camera in just a second. I want to brag about you a little bit. Let people know about you, too. Jeff has personally recruited over 500 people frontline. He's built teams to 11,000 people in 7 countries in 3 years in network marketing. And his teams have produced over 10 million in sales in 3 years. So he talks from experience. He's gone even deeper in his business than I have in mine, even though I was full-time for years, but Jeff has done even more and talked to more people and has these great tools, which we're going to share with you. So, hi, Alan, welcome. Just because my voice gets staticky often when I bring a guest on, I'm going to talk just a moment and then bring Jeff on for y'all to enjoy. Jeff already gave people a little bit of our history, how we met and all that. And the thing that the main thing that I just fell in love with was his, I call it the favor script, which is you text friends, people that you know, hey, can you do me a favor? I want to let you know what I'm doing now in case you run across the right person, you can refer them to me. Is this a good time to talk? Then you follow up with your 10-minute presentation instead of a video for a whole bunch of reasons that we can give. And then you follow up properly with them after that. So that's with people that you know, your friends and family and everyone that would do you the favor. It's not about them. It's indirect. They're curious what you're into and they want to help you. Even if they've already said no about your business, now it's not about them, and you're sharing more with them in case they can refer to you. So it works with people who've said no with all 4 personalities. It's easy. It's duplicatable. You got a business going right away. You text or Facebook message 10 people, follow up with those, and on the average 1 or 2 become a customer or distributor. So it's very easy to get your new recruit started fast with this. Now, what about people you don't know? You've run out of your, hundreds of people that are on your phone book and on your Facebook friends, and now what do? So that's what this live is about. It's what everybody wants to know in network marketing, how to recruit people you don't know. So welcome, Candace. I'm so glad you're here. And Alan and Eric. Awesome. Jeff, going to bring you on camera. I did my talking now, so just in case it's too staticky when you come on, if it is, I'll try it. But if it is, then I'll wait till you hop off to talk further. Yeah, because I have tips to share to add on to yours, but I'll see what you bring. And here we go, bringing Jeff in, adding. So glad you each are here. Is it cold where you are? It's like, I guess 40s or so today here is our high in Kansas. But that's cool. It's going to be sunnier and warm tomorrow. I like it all. How about you? Is everybody staying warm? What's the high today where you are? What's the temperature like where you are today? Let's see, Jeff, I'm going to try to bring you on camera again. Add. It says bringing you on. I hope. Can't bring you on. How come? How come, Facebook? Can't bring you on, Jeff Retz. Well, let's keep trying here. Facebook changes its mind from time to time. Can't bring you on, it says. I'm going to send a request and see if we could do it that way. Sent. It's already sent. Invite friends to watch. Wants to be on your video. There we go. Sent a request. Freezing, it says. One thing you can count on technology is you can't always, that is human, right? Oh, somebody said it's, okay, 0 Celsius. Okay, Jeff, could you send another request? Okay. Somebody wrote freezing and I thought, hey.
Says I'm here. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for having me on today. Today we're supposed to be talking about basically how to recruit people you don't know. So there's a couple different people. Obviously, there's a lot of people you don't know. There's more people you don't know than do know. So what I was told is the majority of your business is going to come from people you actually have never met before. And, how do you run into these people? How do you have conversations with these people? How do you actually bring them onto your team? And it begins with actually rapport. You have to build rapport. A lot of people say you have to build a relationship, and that is 100% incorrect. Most of the people that I recruited, I did not have a relationship with. I had rapport with, and there's a huge difference between those two things. So let's talk about the people that you're going to run into. The first group is people, we call it the 3-foot rule. Those are people that are going to be within 3 feet of you, that you're out and about having conversations with. And what I would say is this is the most scary in a lot of cases, because you don't know them, they don't know you, you have nothing that you know of in common. So this is where we, Bess and I both use something called form or forward. It's basically the same technique, it just has a couple different initials. The F starts for friendly. I don't use family because as a guy, you don't want to walk in and be like, hey, those are really nice kids. How many kids do you have? It just kind of comes across wrong. So you come across friendly, hey, how was your day? How was your day? How's your week been? Right now, if I was meeting somebody, let's say at Starbucks, because, that's a frequent place, or I'm actually headed to a Panera Bread for a meeting. What's up, Dave Peters? I would actually say, hey, how you doing? If I was in line, hey, how's the day going? And then I'll kind of be observant. You're going to look and say, okay, is this person here for work, or is this person here, relaxing? Typically how they're dressed, if they're in a suit and tie, or if it's a woman, she's in a business outfit, or I can tell she's doing business, she has a laptop. I was like, oh, you working from Starbucks? You working from Panera Bread today? And they'll usually say, yeah. I say, okay, so what about, what do you do? I kind of get right into career. What do you do? What allows you to kind of set your own schedule and be here in the middle of the day? So I'm kind of complimenting them. And typically they'll be like, oh, whatever. Let's say, a lot of times I'll meet photographers at Starbucks, because photographers a lot of times don't have a studio, especially like wedding photographers, and they'll have like books with them and they'll have their laptop to show all the pictures. Oh, I'm a wedding photographer. Oh, wow, great. How long have you done that? What a lot of people do is you just skip asking enough questions to build rapport. Most people don't ask enough questions. Most people don't build enough rapport. Most people are not interested in the other person enough to convey that you're interested. How can you help them first? That's kind of your first objective. How can I help them? So, oh, great, you're a wedding photographer. How long have you done that? Is that your full-time thing? You'd be amazed at how many people go like, no, it's really not my full-time thing. I actually work full-time. What do you do full-time? Oh, I work in insurance. I work in retail. I work in restaurants. They have all kinds of different jobs. And this doesn't just mean wedding photographers. I mean, this is business people in general. They usually have a full-time job and they're running this part-time. So what I do is I ask those questions, and then what I'll do is instantly kind of shift from, what they do. I said, well, what do you do when you're not doing all this? Because it sounds like you're pretty busy. And they're like, oh, well, I love, and most people love to do something. They'll like, oh, I love painting, or I love this. And then you want to ask them, well, do you get to do that very often? What it does is it makes them evaluate what kind of time freedom they have. And a lot of times they don't have that time freedom. So what I'll do is shift gears from that to basically say, this is where the favor comes in. I'll say, hey, I know this may be weird. This may be totally weird, but man, if you have a card, I'd love to be able to help you out and introduce you to a bunch of people. And by the way, a huge favor, sometime I'd love to be able to share with you what I'm doing. So that way, if you happen to run into somebody, you could refer me. So what it is, it's kind of a give and take. It's law of reciprocation. If I help you, will you help me? Now, what I'd like to do is instantly, if I can, I try to introduce them to somebody immediately. Because if you can introduce somebody immediately and show them that you have the ability to help somebody immediately, this helps greatly. And again, Dave Peters, call out the weirdness. Hey, I know this is strange. The reason I'm asking all these questions, but I happen to be a recruiter for my company. And most people are like, oh, are you trying to recruit me? And I'm like, no, we only look for really the right people, not everyone. And it instantly takes people back. I mean, I've had some people that are almost offended by the fact they're like, why wouldn't that be good for your company? And I was like, well, we only look for certain people and certain personalities. And, I don't know if you have that yet. I don't know if you're qualified to do what I'm doing, or, have the background to do what I'm doing, or want to do what I'm doing. And, that usually gets a head shake and like, oh, okay. So it's the takeaway. And then I exchange information. Usually I get their business card. Oh, do you come to Starbucks a lot? Do you come to Panera Bread a lot? So now I have the ability to know where they're going to be, when they're going to be, so that way I can have that conversation. That's the first type of person. Second type of person, which is more likely, is a person I'd meet online. So we're talking about people on your Facebook page, people in Facebook groups. So again, what I would do is write down a list of half a dozen to a dozen things that you like, that you're into, that you're interested in. Give you, for instance, I love martial arts. I'm sure there's martial arts groups all over the world. Now, this is where you have to get specific to your company. Is your company just located in the United States? Is it worldwide? Sometimes if it's a new company, sometimes they're just local. Local to the United States, maybe, or local to Canada. So you have to do this based on, where people are at. But I like martial arts. So if I was in a worldwide company, I would just type in martial arts into the search bar at the very top of Facebook. And I would look for different martial arts groups. Now, there's going to be two types of groups, closed groups and open groups. I would want to get into as many open groups as possible. And I want to get into the open groups that have a lot of people. And then what I'll do is systematically, I'll post some stuff in there about martial arts that I like. I'll ask some questions about martial arts. For instance, what do you guys feel is the best martial art for self-defense? Like, that's specific to that community, to that group. If I ask that on my normal website page or on my normal Facebook page, a lot of people will be like, I don't care about that. I'm not interested in that. What does that have to do with anything? Why is Jeff even asking this question? But if I post it in a martial arts group, I'm going to get a lot of response. Why? Because that's what people like. And if you ask for people's opinions, you'll get a lot of response back and you'll get a lot of activity. Now, what I'll do is I'll systematically go through and talk with those people. Oh, really? Do you study that martial art? How long have you studied it? I get right back into form. It's the same thing as if I was meeting them in person. The difference is you can start 25 conversations at one time on Facebook. Eventually, it's, oh, really? Well, where are you from? Hey, I just looked on your Facebook page. It says you're from Florida. That's really cool. What part of Florida? How long have you lived there? Do you like it? Is it nice and warm there? So again, you go into that conversation. So let's go from that to, let's say you like animals. Cats. We have 2 cats. There's approximately 80 million cat owners in the United States. So this is a big group. This is something people like to post about, like to talk about. People have liked to talk about it for years. You can go back to hieroglyphics, and people were posting pictures of cats 2,000 years ago on the wall of Egypt, along with cave drawings. So this is obviously something pretty important to people for a long time. And I get into conversations, hey, what's the best type of house cat? If you put that in there, you'd probably start a war, because people will start responding back and be like, no, not that one, this one, long hair, short hair, that type of conversation. Those are the questions that I would ask. What kind of pet food is the best pet food? Again, you'd start a war, but you get a lot of conversation. This has nothing to do with your business. It has to do with building rapport with people. Now, watch this. Now, instead of people I don't know, now I'm with people I do know that I have something in common with, that I'm already in conversation with. And then I can go from that conversation, oh, okay, that's really cool. I see your point. I agree. I agree that makes sense. Now, here's the thing. It's not a good idea, and I've watched people do this, it's not a good idea to argue with somebody, kick the cat, kick the dog, poo-poo on what they like, and then try to recruit them. You'd be amazed at how many people try to do this. They'll be like, hey, I see you have a Lexus. I hear they're really expensive and stupid to buy. Do you want to see my business? You can get a free one. I'm like, what in the world? Like, what planet are you on? And here's the thing. I just realized certain people have grown up without any social etiquette, would be the right way to say it. They have no social etiquette at all. They have no idea how to be attractive and normal inside of a group of people. And that's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. Or somebody would be like, oh my gosh, you're a truck driver? Trucks are awful. Those gas guzzling, awful, blah, 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 blah. What kind of an idiot would want to drive those? By the way, I'm in a business where you could make a lot of money. You could buy another truck. You want to get in? I've seen people do this, so that's why I'm kind of making fun of it. I had a version of this myself because I didn't understand. I didn't understand people. I would ask people what they did, and instead of being like, wow, that's awesome, I would be like, well, I bet you don't make any money doing that, you know? And I was dumb. I didn't know. I was 18, 17, and somebody would be like, oh, I work retail. And I was like, well, the average retail person makes less than $12 an hour and has crappy hours. How about you? And they're like, yeah, well, no, I like mine. Here's the thing. You can't criticize their job. Only they can. You can't criticize what they like. Only they can. So you always want to stay on the positive side of things. Here's the thing. I don't go into political groups and start political arguments. Hey, let's go after all the right and talk about the left, or the left and talk about the right. Like, I don't do that. Why? Because that's not going to bring more people to you. I also don't. Here's the other thing. You want to clean up your own Facebook page that doesn't have negativity, and it doesn't have anything crazy suggestive, and it doesn't have war and gore and all the other stuff. You want to keep it kind of positive. Like, to me, if it's not family or something fun or music that I know people like, that's what I stick to. You know, I have my own opinions about everything else, but I just leave it off of my website. I have certain people, you know, whether it be the right or the left, that are constantly posting, I hate this person, I hate that person. Can you believe we should blow them up, we should kill this person, we should blow. That is not going to, here's the thing, you're actually going to repel half of the people, you know, because half of the people like one person, half the people like the other. The only time you're going to get that, and it's okay as a job, is being a referee. It's being a referee. Half the people will always hate you. In politics, half the people will always hate you. But keep it positive. I don't care what your view is. And here's the thing. I recruit people, and I have people that are extremist on both sides, and I'm friends with both of them. Why? Because in the end, I think people do want the same thing. They do want their family to be better. They do want to be financially secure. They do want a better life. You know, that's what we all have in common. We all get up. We all breathe the same air. The right doesn't breathe different air than the left breathes, although, you know, there'd probably be an argument about that, and somebody would say they didn't. But that's my point, is people will start arguing about it if you point it out. So I just stay away from all that. I clear out my page, so that way you don't want to be contacting people on Facebook and having these conversations, and then they start looking at your page and be like, this person's an idiot. Like, I don't like anything that they're about or anything that they do. I've had people contact me for groups, and they want me to invest or something because they've seen one of my shows, or they've heard that I'm in real estate or whatever, and they're like, hey, we're with this blah, blah, blah political group, and we were asking for money, and, you know, and it's obvious to us that based on what you're posting that you're this side or that side. I've had both sides contact me, which tells me I'm doing a good job, because neither side has any idea. Why? Because that's not what it's about. I'm about building a community, not tearing one side down. So when it comes to Facebook, you want to have a dozen groups, get into those groups, start having conversations, start posting, start asking questions, comparable questions, what people like, opinions. Hey, rate this on a scale of 1 to 10. You know, rate this on a scale of 1 to 10. Hey, I just bought this new car. Rate this on a scale of 1 to 10. Hey, I'm thinking about getting a new car. What's better, Mercedes or BMW? If you were in like an auto enthusiast page, that would be a good post, right? Because people would say, you can do this on your page and get interaction with all kinds of people. You know, what's better, Coke or Pepsi? What do you like better, a ranch or a two-story? What do you like better, living in the mountains or living in the city? So and you can do this. You just have to think a little bit inside of those groups how to do that. Once you do that and start having those conversations, start talking to the people who are talking to you about those things. Remember this: compliment, compliment, compliment. The more you can compliment people, the better. When I really want to have a deep conversation with somebody, I'll actually go to their page and see who they are. And most of the time, nowadays, I'll look through their page and be like, not somebody I want to have a conversation with. Next. In the beginning, you want to have a conversation with anybody. Why? Because you want to get good at having conversations with everybody, so that way you can know what's a good conversation, what's not. So start a conversation. If you're new, and here's the thing, if you haven't recruited 100 people frontline, start a conversation with everybody. Once you've recruited 100 people frontline, then we can get specific. People are like, well, I like to sort people. I'm like, right now you need anybody. You have nobody on your team. You haven't recruited a person in a year. You've been in your company 10 years. You've not recruited anybody yet. You need a person. Just get started. Talk to everybody. Understand how to have these conversations. You want to recruit a bunch of not so good people, so that way when you get a good one, you got a good one. If not, you have no idea either way. Some people are like, well, I don't understand why my people aren't doing anything. I said, well, what have you been doing? Well, nothing. Well, they're following the leader. And people are like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I was like, well, maybe you shouldn't have asked. I don't know. So a couple different kinds of people to talk to. We've talked about 3-foot rule. We've talked about online. And you can do the same thing with Instagram. You can do the same thing with LinkedIn. It doesn't matter. Obviously, LinkedIn and Instagram don't have groups, but you can pick out certain people that have things in common. And then this last group is when you go to a networking group. Actually, we'll talk about one more group. Networking group. When you go to a networking group, the specific reason everybody's there is to have conversations. That's why people are there. They're there to have conversations about business. What I always do is it's an 80-20. This is all you want to remember when you go to a networking group, 80-20. 80% about them, 20% about you. Get their information. Have a conversation about your company, not at the networking group. I'll go around and I'll meet. Here's the thing. Most people walk out with one card and they're like, that person's really interested in my business. I'll walk out with everybody's card. After the event, I call everybody back. I compliment them. I tell them, hey, thanks for meeting. Hey, when can we get together? And I'll go sit down and present to 20 people. It's making it much more valuable. So I seek people out rather than waiting for them to seek me out. I want to learn about what they do rather than telling them what I do. And because I do it that way and I get to know, think about it. If you sat down with 5 different people, here's the craziest thing. I've actually connected to people who are in the same meeting and have been in the same meeting for years and had never sat down and talked. And I'm like, what in the world are you guys doing inside of your networking group? Like, why are you there? I'm like, hey, have you sat down with John? No. Have you guys ever talked? Oh, yeah, I see him every week. I was like, maybe it's a good idea to have a conversation with him. You're in a networking group. I try not to, be too mean about it, but I'm like, what are you doing there? Like, are you awake when you're there? I mean, I know they serve coffee and stuff, so I know he's awake, but are you paying attention to what's going on? So what I do is I try to connect people. That's what it's really, really about. I'll sit down with them. And again, it's compliment, form, family, occupation, recreation is the R, and then the message. Hey, well, can you do me a huge favor? See, I'm able to meet somebody I don't know, get to know them enough to build rapport, and then ask them, hey, can you do me a favor? Sure, what do you... I would love to be able to tell you what I'm doing, so if you ever ran into a person that would, basically fit our service, you could refer them to us. And people are like, okay. Simple. Now I'm able to give my entire presentation to somebody, the product, the company, the need in the marketplace, the compensation, the timing, everything, in 15 minutes in a presentation, and nobody ever has a problem with it. So that's what I've been doing. That's why it's worked. That's why I've been able to recruit so many people. But right now I actually have to get off the phone and turn this back over to Bess because I got to go meet somebody to actually physically do what we're talking about. Anything else? That clears it up. Okay, thanks, guys. I'm going to let you go so that way we have a clear one.
Okay, when we found that if I try to talk when Jeff's on, it sounds real static and everything, so we just take turns. So thank you, Jeff, for coming on, making time to do this, and now he's off running, doing what he just told you how to do. So that's awesome. I know that last night Jeff and I were on a call. There's a radio show host that said, Jeff, I know Jeff and Bess, I want you to meet Crystal. So we got on this show with her. She told us what she does. She learned what we do, and we were able to give her several referrals right away. So do that as quick as you can. People remember you, and maybe they can give you a referral too for what you're doing. So I want to say hi to Candace Tammy Torin, who says it's 0 Celsius there, and Pialani in Hawaii. And Lucy, thank you so much for that tip. And Cedric from El Paso, and Max and Ellen and Candace, who says it's in the 30s where she is. David Peters says it's 21 degrees where he is. And Eric, I wonder where it is where you are. And to Kareem, Sharon, and Anthony. Thank you all for jumping on. And thank you for the likes and loves. We really appreciate it. And if you're getting value, we love if you share, tag people. Some people share in other network marketing groups so people can be getting benefit as we go. Also, I'd love to hear a question or takeaway that you might have, because in a minute I'll address that. And Anthony, and hi James, and so glad to see you. And there's some questions. James says cold prospecting is just as easy as warm. Cool, James. Cool. Because if they're warm, they know you from when you were a kid and all that stuff, and they might have preconceived ideas, huh? James, you got any more tips about that? If you do, maybe I'll see if I can bring you on camera in just about 5 minutes. Maybe I'll open that up and see if you're open to coming on. James is a wonderful friend and networker, very experienced. He also has spoken for the MLM Millionaire Club, my school. And Candace says, good info, and Torrance says, great. And see, Anthony says, I came in not quite long ago. Who's presenting? You're here. We both are. We're a team. If you are, you've done. Are you done and taking questions and contributions? Yes, Anthony, please type those in. I'm going to share a little bit more, and then I'm going to take questions and any insights or wisdom that you want to share too. So that's please type those in now. Prospects are waiting for our message. Yes, James. So walking around with that attitude, like James just said, it's kind of makes it easier to contact people when you know that somebody needs you today, somebody's counting on you. I just got my book, The Red Key Revolution by Jordan Kemper, and he says, I also got my red key, and a red key signifies my commitment to being significant. Success is for myself, but significance means I'm serving others, so I actually got my red key. And he says on here, to keep this key safe, let it serve as a North Star, a constant reminder of the sacrifices that lie ahead and your commitment to make decisions as if someone is always counting on you, because someone always is. So that's what I'm adding to what James said. Prospects are waiting for our message. There are people that need you out there. I like to realize that I have 4 pet areas that I like to remember, because this covers like 95% of people. But my 4 pet areas that I like to, I'm not in a network marketing company, but I still talk to people about network marketing all the time, about the profession itself and why it's the best business in the world that I know of, and do you have a better option? Do you have a better option for yourself? But the 4 pet areas I like to look at, the prospects that I know are waiting to hear about it, that can use this, are parents who want to be home with their kids, people who need to fire bad bosses, seniors who want a dignified retirement, more than the poverty level, and students with loans to pay off, or anybody with loans to pay off. How are they going to do that otherwise without being burdened and saddled for years and years and years? So these are the 4 pet areas, and when you look at that, that can cover just about most of the people around you that you know. So the way to get to know them, if you don't know them already, is to develop these lovely conversations, like Jeff said. People love to be listened to. They love your curiosity about them. They love you caring about them. People's favorite topic is themselves. It's rare to have somebody who's really going to listen and put their agenda aside and be genuinely interested in the person in front of them. And Tom and Denise Chenault teach this in their coffee shop interview. It's very similar to my Always Get a Yes book, which is about listening to people and active listening, and offering empathy for what they're that you know that you heard them. Similar to what Jeff described. And also I put Jeff's favorite script first in that book, Always Get a Yes book. For those people who want the book, it's at mlmmillionaireclub.com/yes. So you can get that book. If you want to get a free sample of that script, I'll post the link there too. I'm going to give a few more tips in just a minute, but let me say real quick where you can find that script. Jeff and I teach a Sunday night class Quick Start Basics for Network Marketers is super, super, super affordable. Should be several $100s a month, but it's only $25 a month, and it is jam-packed. People are getting the results, like I mentioned, that jumping 2 ranks, quadrupling sales, earning a new car bonus, and recently one of our senior members just recruited her first person, her first distributor, and she was so happy and so tickled. She broke through into a new level from just retailing to sponsoring people. That is as great as a person, to me, as a person who jumped 2 ranks. So these are the results we're getting in our Sunday class. People have been asking questions about it, so we've decided to hold a special open house class for everyone who has questions about it, who has been wondering about it, who's been thinking about joining that class. That's going to be this Sunday. That free open call for everybody to join in on is going to be this Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can get the call-in number for that at the Facebook event, World's Hottest Script. So we're going to be teaching that favorite script and also how to use it. Now, when you go to that Facebook event, I just put a link in there that you can order the free script right away. So you can get that instantly, the favorite script, you can get it for free instantly right away. And then you can there's a number there where you can hop on the class on Sunday where we teach more about how to use it. And we answer any questions about our Sunday class, too. So that's where you can get the free script. That's where you can get the call-in number for Sunday. And let's see, other comments. James, we are messengers, not salespeople. Yes, I love that I am a messenger and an educator. Learn your 30-second elevator pitch. Use the company tools. Always use 3-way calls with your upline to close, then duplicate. It's that simple. You need that 3-way call as that validator, don't you? So we encourage people, instead of using a video, to instead of a video, we actually encourage them to do the 10-minute presentation that you write up from the company information that you deliver yourself, because most 70% of people right now are not watching the videos. They're videoed out, or they're busy, and then they feel bad because they didn't watch, and then they avoid you when you try to follow up with them. So we recommend the favor script followed up with a 10-minute presentation that we can help people write that, but the directions are in the Yes book. And we'll talk more about that actually on Sunday's call, how to write your 10-minute presentation up. It's the best follow-up because you do it right away. They don't have to go to a video and all that stuff. Hello, Pilani. Welcome. Glad you are here. And then duplicate. It's that simple, huh, James? Yeah. And Anthony says, how can I handle a situation? Before I answer that, I would like to give a couple more tips to follow up with what Jeff said. Everything he said was wonderful. And just for people who are hearing this, just coming on now, a couple of the things that I took down as takeaways from what Jeff said is when you meet somebody, like the 3-foot rule, or you meet somebody online, you can start up conversations like FORD or FORM. Like, what do you do? Is that your full-time thing? What do you do when you're not busy? Do you get to do that very often? And other interesting questions about them. Now, when you're in a networking group, or if it's another business person, that's when you can do the mutual referral. Hey, how about if we talk a few minutes, because I'd like to learn what you do in case I can refer somebody to you, and I'd love to share with you what I do in case you run across somebody that you might be able to refer to me. So that's the mutual referral technique when it's a business person you're talking to, or a networking group that you're in where that is expected. Now, if you're online or in person, and let's say that you join a group, an interest group of your hobby, whether offline or online. Know the group's policy, read their about page, know whether you can mention a blog that you wrote or not, whether that's okay to leave a link or not. You can join groups online of either your interests, like cats, like Jeff mentioned, or your target market. In other words, if you love, if it's health, if you want to, your target market customer or distributor might be people interested in health, then you can join groups about that. Not too many though. I'd say 3 to 6, because how can you do well in any group? You want to have time enough to go back and check back and really respond with people in a timely way and all that discussions that you get going. And your purpose in that is to then move the conversation to a Facebook Messenger private conversation and move that to an actual phone or video conversation. It could be on Facebook Messenger or it could be by phone, which would be safe because people have to give their phone number then. Or if they're from another country, that's I do a lot of that myself when I network for our classes. So Facebook Messenger, phone, or video is very handy for those things, to avoid long-distance phone calls and to work with people from other countries or not have to give out your phone number. But you want to take it to a live conversation. Maybe that Facebook group might be corporate moms, because I had a coaching client, a network marketer, who quit her corporate job, grew her network marketing business, and took off time to travel with her son in an RV and homeschooled him during that time. And so she loves sharing with moms what she's doing or what she has done, because other moms might want to do that too. Or it might be a group of baby boomers or other people of similar places that you have come from, that you can then help them. But first you develop that rapport, like Jeff said, that rapport. I really like that. When you send somebody a Facebook friend request, which will make it easier for you to talk on Facebook Messenger, send them a message along with it that says, hey, I love what you said over here in this Facebook group, and would like to hear more about that. And by the way, I sent you a Facebook friend request. Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, I get friend requests with no message with it. So I don't know how that person saw me or found me, but it warms it up. Now, the people I send friend requests, I always send a message like that, and 99% of the time it's seen and gets accepted. So, because Facebook could penalize you if you send too many out that are not accepted. So that's another tip that I have. But I like Jeff's advice too about complimenting. Can't go wrong with that. People love that you just saw their post, or go to their page, see what else they wrote. You meet somebody in a group, you can go see what else. Oh, I like this, I like that. Go and support their post. That's how Jeff got to know me. He was following me, supporting me. I thought, who's this guy? Keeps popping up, and maybe nobody else liked my post, but Jeff did, or started a conversation, or edified, or built off to what something I said. So you support, you edify, you build, you compliment. And that's, by the way, is how you can meet you can meet a high profile prospect that you'd like to meet. You can do that by just going on their page and complimenting them. It really works. So Anthony says, how can I handle a situation in which a lot of people requires assistance and care from me, which I can't actually provide? I always find myself in this situation. Interesting. Help them to help themselves. John Maxwell, Jeff and I teach leadership, by the way, on Monday through Friday at the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show Facebook group. MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show, we teach Facebook principles. And the answer is to develop leaders. Teach the people within that situation. See who can be a leader and who can help the other people, because you can't do it all, right? We can only help so many people. But if we train leaders who train leaders to help people, same in network marketing. You want to train the leaders to spend your most time with the people who can become leaders and help them. Does that help, James? I know it's kind of general because you didn't mention exactly what it is, but thank you for asking the question, and I'd like to know if that helped at all, if there's more to your question. I have just a couple more minutes when I need to hop off, but welcome, Macon and Torin. So much great knowledge and learning. Thank you, Bess and friends. Thank you for being here, Torin. I have a grandson named Torin, spelled a little bit different, Torin. I like your name. And Everlove, too. That's awesome. Anybody else have a question or comment? Do you have wisdom that you can share with us, insights on this topic, how you sponsor people that you don't know yet? Let's see, I think I mentioned everything. Yeah, our Sunday class. I'll put the link to that, but you can find that Sunday class this 5 p.m. Everybody's invited. Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. The world's hottest script. What it is, how to use it, and people have questions about our Sunday class. We'd be happy to answer that if you're thinking of jumping in with us, because we're getting great results in there. Okay, so I'll post the link to that, but it's at the Facebook event, World's Hottest Script. So we'd love to have you. Thank you so much. Candace, my friend Candace from GoPro last year, Any hints for follow-up with vendor fairs? Sure. Make sure that if you do a fair, that you have a giveaway so that you can capture people's contact information. And you can also put on there, are you interested in health? Like if it's a health product. So are you interested in health? Or are you interested in making an income, an extra stream of income in addition to what you're already doing? Are you interested in health? Are you interested in an extra income? So that you can follow up with those people after the fair. So that's how you capture their contact information. Of course, you can give out samples and talk with people. But does that help? I also like having at the fair different aspects of the business. Put those in a plastic folder and spread those out on the table, maybe 6 to 12 different plastic covered pages with something, something about your business. One would be about health, one would be about the income, one would be another aspect of health, and see which one they pick up and read. It'd be like, titles on each one of them, and see which one they pick up and read, and make a note of that when you check back with them later so you can see what their interests are and refer back to that thing. I get their info, but then lots of times they don't. So if you're having a giveaway, you could have a box that they check. Yeah, it would be optional, so if they don't, then you can't. But if you have a giveaway and you have that form, then they'll get the feeling like they should fill it out if they want a chance at winning it. Respond. Let's see. Oh, sometimes they don't respond. I get their info lots. Oh, when you call them. Yes. So let's see. Follow up. A text. I would send a text and say, "Thank you for visiting our booth. Sorry that you didn't win the whatever, but I noticed that you are interested in health. I'm curious, what about health are you interested in? Or you're interested in extra income? Can you tell me what you're looking for?" So those would be leading interested questions about them when you text them. Most people don't answer the phone, but see how many respond back from a text like that. Does that help, Candace? Thank you for asking. Any other questions? I'm going to have to hop off in a moment. I appreciate you each for being here. Thank you for all that you're doing in network marketing and helping people, because they are looking for you, just like James said. Maybe, James, sometime I can bring you online, but I've got to run in a minute here. This has been a long live. That's a good idea. Thanks, Candace. Any other questions? You can type them in. Of course, Candace, anyone can private message me too, any questions you might have. So if you like to talk, Candace, I'd be glad to do that too. Of course, would love to talk with you. So if you want any more, feedback about this, invite to a class, appreciate it. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Sometimes people need class, sometimes one-on-one. But good job. Thank you for all you're doing, Candace and everybody. Gonna sign off now, and love to you. Thank you for helping people. Take care. Well, next Tuesday, 3 p.m. back here again. Actually tonight, Jeff and I are going to be back on at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to come back on and have a little open house on here. So you could come back to the same page, Bess McCarty, and find that here. So we'll be back on tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you each. Take care. Bye-bye.